QWER. Yes, I'm going to say the name right once at the beginning of this video as a big thank you to all of you QWER fans who've come back and checked out, well, my many videos now. I've been following this band for a little while through several videos, checking out a few of their songs, giving a little bit of a commentary myself on how I think they could be a very important change, really. They could cause or instigate or be the inspiration behind a very big positive change in the Korean music industry, finding out from you guys so much information about them, how they were inspired by, through Egg Kim, by things like Bocce the Rock. I have been fascinated to check them out. But as I've learned more about them, the one thing that has always come up is the fact that there seems to be this thing about, are they really a live band? And as I said, from watching some of their live footage myself, I'm more than convinced that they are obviously they're kind of basic, they're still learning things, but they definitely can play their instruments live, and what better setting to prove that than on the first take. Now, I know that QWER were in Japan recently doing live shows here. I think they did Zep Haneda as well, which is a cool little venue. Actually, it's quite a big venue, actually, and very prestigious venue as well. No, Zep Shinjuku, sorry. And so they've been in Japan, and I'm assuming whilst in Japan, this is when I suspect they would have recorded this episode of the first take being a massive Japanese cultural thing. And it's kind of weird because it's just basically recorded on a blank background, so they could have recorded this anyway, but I'm assuming it was recorded in Japan because it's such a big Japanese cultural thing. Sorry about the adverts. No Wix, I don't want a website. Anyway, excuse me. So yeah, I'm genuinely excited to see this. Now, they are performing T.B.H. apparently. Interesting enough, usually when bands do performances on the first take, most of the bands who I have enjoyed watching have recorded 2 songs. So we had Babe Metal, Oatscry, several artists who, even Ano, have recorded 2 songs rather than just the one. So I'm wondering whether there is going to be another QWER song coming up on the first take. When it actually comes to the first take itself, I don't do reactions to the first take that often, only if it's something I really particularly care about, because I often work under the assumption that if we're enjoying a band, then, I assume that they can play live. I can assume they can do their thing. So the first take for me is mostly interesting when it's a band or a song I really like and we're getting to hear an alternative version, because that's something that very often comes up on the first take. I think the idea of it being a platform to see if artists can really do what they claim, I think those days are long gone. I think people now see it just more as an interesting highlight, kind of like a... Back when I was very, very much younger, there was something called Top of the Pops, which was just like a TV program in the UK where they would show whatever bands were popular at the time. I think it's just like that. It's just like a showcase thing. If you're popular and you got popular music in Japan, then you got to appear on the first take, because that's just like a show. It's just like a showcasing stage, really. So anyway, those are my thoughts. We've got 30 seconds till it starts. Is there anything I particularly am hoping for here? I'm hoping to just enjoy, as clean as the recordings will be, I'm hoping to enjoy a proper band sound like we did on that most recent song they released, which was all written and performed by them with no extra hands involved. I'm hoping to get a nice raw sound like that, and I'm hoping for them to have fun. Anyway, let's turn on the audio and then enjoy it together. Oh, we get to listen to them walking up to the microphones, and squeaky headphone time as well. It's not the first take unless you get squeaky headphones. Here come the squeaky headphones. There it is. Ah, I feel the squeak.
안녕하세요.
안녕하세요.
konnichiwa. QWER です.
Ciao.
konnichiwa. よろしくお願いします.
That was the cutest konnichiwa I've ever heard.
よろしくお願いします. 今日は緊張する. ドキドキ.
I'm loving them introducing themselves in.
今日のためにめちゃめちゃ頑張りました. みんな頑張って.
They're wishing themselves good luck in Japanese.
우리 다 같이 이어져 있으니까. 우리 믿자.
잘할 수 있어.
사랑한다.
나도. 아이시테루.
뭐야? 그러면 준비됐나요?
I'm loving them bouncing between Japanese and
가자!
Korean. 가자! All right, let's go. Let's get it. Come on.
어떤 인사가 괜찮을까 천 번쯤 상상해봤어 근데 오늘도 천 번 하고 한 번 더 고민 중
Love the vocal.
막상 네 앞에 서니 꽁꽁 얼어버렸다 숨겨왔던 나의 맘 절반을 반도 주지를 못했어 아직은 준비가 안 됐다고
So there's a lot of backing track as expected. Looking forward to the band bits kicking in.
쏟아지는 맘을 멈출 수가 없을까 너의 작은 인사 한마디에 요란해져서
Got incredible vocal control. I mean, I guess that's the one thing you'd know from the get-go, but wow. What a voice. Come on.
1, 2, QWER.
Oh, I want to see that bass playing. Some cool slapping though. Oh, the tone's great. I'm loving the clean tone. I mean, obviously you've got like the strings and everything in the background, which I'm all for. But oh, nice. Yeah, I love the fact this is very calm, measured performance, but it sounds lovely and true. Damn, her voice is nice. I want to see those bass slap bits. I cannot forgive the director for avoiding the bass bits, but okay. We good?
잘했어.
Yeah. Okay, that was cool. That was really cool. Yeah, I have to say, listening to that and watching that, I love the charm of the band because, you know, this is the thing, as you say, I think there's a fairly good understanding of what's going on here. You know, they're not pretending to be anything more than like, hey, we've been given this opportunity and, you know, we want to become good at our instruments. And I love seeing them performing in that kind of way with that kind of energy. And like, you know, you can see like the tension. Loved hearing them bouncing between Japanese and Korean. That was really cool at the beginning. And just, yeah, the whole energy and vibe around this was nice. It had a real feeling of, it felt like four friends getting together and do something a little bit, like say, doki doki, a little bit of a heart-pounding moment. But yeah, I just felt that was really nice, really charming, really well delivered. It's a premiere, so it's really hard to find a good frame. There you go, we'll keep that frame. There you go. Yeah, I was really impressed by the singer's voice. The singer's voice, yeah, she had fantastic vocal control in that. One of those examples of, you know, often when we think of more poppy voices, people tend to treat that almost as like it's a derogatory thing, you know, to have a poppy sounding voice. But, you know, being able to sing pop is often to have a clear, precise, and a voice that can convey emotion without being overly melodramatic. I think that's a real skill. And for me, I love the fact that she just had such a nice delivery, but at the same time, she did convey like just the right amount of emotion. It was primarily melodic, but there was a real sense of feeling underneath it as well, which was just nice, really well done. And then on top of that, I have to give credit. The musicianship was really cool. I will say, because they never showed the bassist doing that slap bit, it was a shame. I enjoyed watching her to do the walking bits, but it kind of like, when it comes to the slap bits, I was like, I wanted to kind of see that, because that's one of those things where if you're trying to get overseas or even Japanese these days fans on board, people are obsessed with slap bass. I don't personally get it myself. I like slap bass, but I don't think it's like the superior form of bass playing. Sorry, Davey 504. But the thing is that I really like a good, like, just a moment which speaks good for bass. And like when the Silent Siren came out with Fujiyama Disco, and everyone just loved that song, and with Neki, everyone loves the ones where there's like slap bass. I thought, because this song's got a bit of slap in it, I wish they kind of like shown that. So that was a bit of a shame we didn't get to show that more. But I love that we got to see the drum fills. There was some really nice sort of quick and sharp drum fills that we got to see, which was cool. Like I said, we got to see a bit of walking bass. We got to see some of those nice little guitar movements. The guitarist, I really liked the way she was playing. She had that sort of very calm, controlled, she wasn't overdoing it. She was just sort of like playing in a very smooth way. If anything, they do definitely look like a band who've been getting some good training, because they don't play in that kind of over the top punk way like self-taught musicians. They play like musicians who are getting good training, and they play very calmly, and they hit their points and they hit their marks. This was fun. I would have, it just wasn't really on the cards, but I would have loved to have seen them when they came here and did that live show. That would have been I think that would have been a fascinating experience. But this was just really nice. I think they held their heads high. They did a great job. It sounded clean. It sounded crisp. It sounded fun. It's a good song. It's a good, solid song. I mean, I haven't come back to this as much as I expected since I did my initial review of it, but hearing it again now makes me want to listen to it again. It's just a nice melody, a nice song. Credit to him. This is, again, I've said this so many times. For all the nitpicking you can do, the thing which for me is most important about QWER is the fact that they can have a really positive influence, especially in Korea. They can encourage like the next generation to pick up instruments and play in bands. And, it's in a country where I think there isn't enough of that going on. So, when I see this, I just think this is really inspiring, and it's nice to see them looking happy while they do it. So, credit. That was awesome. Good stuff. Really positive energy, putting positive energy out into the world. Let's get all hippie. Positively, man. Anyway. Good stuff. Get in the comments. Tell me what you think. What would you have liked to have seen the director focus on more? I think, to be honest, the director did a pretty good job. I'd just like to have seen the slap bit a bit more. I'd have liked to have seen because, I mean, you cut these afterwards anyway. I'd have liked to see the director just focus on all the little bits, which were kind of like the cool little moments, because obviously they were so like nervous about doing it. All the little moments where they nailed something, I wanted to see all those little moments there, like little victories throughout the performance. Anyone who's ever remembered, like, if you ever played live and you remember like those early attempts, however young or old you were, every single time you'd always be focused on, oh, this part of this song in the set, the really difficult bit, and then you get through it, and then you're happy for the rest of the set because you're just worried about that one bit. And I feel like they're in that kind of junior phase as well, where they're like looking up to, oh, this is the difficult bit. If I get through that bit, the song will be fine. I feel like they're in that kind of phase. So all those little victories, I can imagine how much they must have meant to them. But anyway, cool stuff. Like I said, get in the comments. Tell me what you think. And until I hopefully see you very soon in Japan for the next one of these. For now, ciao, ciao.